I was assigned, I was the 11th assistant press agent on Iguana, but my boss was Ben Washer, and I left little couplet poems, because when I was a kid, I thought my idea of a real film actor was Betty Davis and Spencer Tracy. So when Iguana was in rehearsal and then went to Chicago, I would leave little couplets on Ben's desk. I only remember one. It said, what'll it be? I'll never see my favorite actress, Betty D. Because Ben was working with her. But he said he'd take me backstage after a Wednesday matinee. And the first Wednesday preview at the Jerry Schoenfeld.
I don't know what it's Plymouth Royale.
I call it the Jerry Plymouth or the Bernie Royale theaters. It's a long story there. And so he brought me in, and it was like seeing Margot Channing in All About Eve. She had on the terry cloth robe, the cold cream on her face, some schmata around her head, and smoking like she was doing an impersonation of Betty Davis. And one of the things that when we were out in public, television or radio, she always was playing Betty Davis. It was very different to watch her transition, giving them what they wanted. And I sat down, and within 30 seconds she had me laughing, and then I had her laughing, and then we started talking about the theater and movies and Hollywood and the Kennedy administration, and we found out that we were simpatico politically. And at that point she said, Ben, the boy can take care of me, which meant that I would be assigned to her for the interviews. Ben was happy because he could do real work, and I had to deal, and everybody said Betty was, somebody said to me, you deal with her. She gets a hold of a kid like you, she's gonna chew you out and spit you out like bad meat. But I always found out that the people who told these stories had never worked with or knew the people, that they were just legendary stories about how difficult they were. So I was a little intimidated about Betty. I had nothing but a joyous experience. But the first time we went was to the Martha Dean radio show, WOR, which in those days meant something. It was sort of like doing the Today Show now, or being on YouTube.
David's on YouTube, he's gone viral.
I don't know, somebody said I went viral, and I said, oh, give me some penicillin. So we went to the Martha Dean show, and the first thing she sat down, and you could smoke indoors then, she took out a cigarette with a kitchen match, like a flamethrower. Of course, I let out a laugh. And Martha said to her, Miss Davis, when I was in Hollywood last year, I wanted to interview you, but the studio wouldn't let me. And she said, the studio. And Martha said, but I did interview your husband, Gary Merrill.
Yeah.
By then, Gary and Betty had split up. And so Martha said, what is Mr. Merrill doing now? And Betty said, drinking. At which point I let out a laugh, and Betty said, you better wait in the sponsor's booth, dear. But when I heard that people kept telling me she was difficult, what I learned from her, she said to me at the beginning, when we do something, you'll come to me about an interview if it doesn't insult my intelligence, if it sells tickets, and if it's right for my schedule, we'll do it. And after a couple of weeks of being very efficient, showing up on time for her and everything like that, she said to me, you decide, you don't have to come to me.
Yeah.
And what I realized was that a lot of stars like her, not like Laura Bacall, not like Faye Dunaway, but real people like Betty Davis, that they're out there and they want professionals to do the job around. And I remember when I was watching her when she came into the Royale or the Plymouth or the Jerry Schoenfeld, when they were setting up, and she said the wattage on that bulb is different than we had in Chicago. And I think the lighting guy was Marty Armstein. He said, Jesus, she's absolutely right. And he said, Betty, we couldn't get that here, but we will, it's coming. She said, it's all right, I just want you to know that it's not the same. Those Hollywood ladies, they knew the angles and the lights.
Yeah. She wanted everything to be right.
And they all had waists like this.
And she would correct your grammar.
Not mine.
Well, I mean,
I liked it.
I loved her. If I mispronounced a name, because I was 20-something, I'd mispronounce a name, she would correct it, not in a mean way, but like, you need to know the right way to say that director's name. But the funny, and she was so funny, it's so smart. And
very smart. And when she left the show, and Shelley Winters came in, she...
That's what she said when I mentioned Shelley Winters.
She sent me an autographed picture to my poet, David, Dear David, she sent me a gift, and it was nothing but nice.
Yeah.
And I kept hearing that she had a difficult time in Iguana. I had nothing but good to come in.
Well, she said that she had been promised Kazan, and then it was Frank Corsaro, and she found him nutless. That was her quote. It was utterly nutless. And then
That means she says testicles.
Patrick O'Neill was very method. You know, like, why am I going over here? Like, oh, Jesus! even then you could smoke in rehearsal. Wonderful Cynthia O'Neill, who was married to Patrick O'Neill, still around us, friends in need, terrific, said that she has pictures of them in rehearsal with scripts smoking. And Betty would just be over there smoking and fuming and like dragging. But and she was envious, as Madeline Sherwood told me, because Margaret Leighton was like crafted from pieces of the moon. Was this beautiful woman and gave this beautiful performance and walked off with all the reviews and all the awards. And Betty
was good in it, though.
Oh, I know, but she was a supporting
But the
player.
part was not as good. In the movie, it's Ava Gardner and Deborah Carnes.
Yeah.
And Deborah had the better part.
Yeah. So, but she was very funny. I remember we were talking, and of course I had to be perverse, because that's where I go. And I had to ask her a question about Joan Crawford, because I had written letters to Joan Crawford, and then it started this correspondence. And anybody who ever wrote to Joan Crawford, you had to end the relationship. Because you would write a letter, she'd send you a letter, you'd thank her, she'd send you a thank you, you'd say thank you for that, she'd thank you for that. But it's enough. You had to break up with Joan Crawford. And I told her that, and she goes, that's nice. And so I said, well, what was it like working with her? Because there are all these books being written and stories, and she said, and I told you this, she said, well, they say you should only say good things about the dead. She's dead. Good!
When I was with her when somebody brought up, she had just filmed Baby Jane, and somebody asked her what it was like working with Crawford, and she said, stand-ins, stand-ins, stand-ins. I even had to kick a stand-in. Crawford didn't do, when they did the two-shot stand-in, Crawford left and her stand-in was there. So do you remember the scene of Baby Jane when she kicks Crawford in the head? It wasn't Crawford, she was denied the love.
How did she want it so badly?
I met Crawford, I did press for, I forget her name, I'm having a senior week, her daughter.
Christina?
Christina Crawford. Before, when she was doing that TV soap that
Secret Storm.
And she always talked, Mommy this and Mommy that, and Mommy this, and Mommy was coming to Lincoln Center for some benefit, and Christina and I went up, and I met Mommy, who was about this tall. And
but she'd break your hand when she shook it. That's what I heard. Like,